Okay, so this will be focused as a separate video on the cohort without elephants. So basically the original goal of maximizing armor. I'm not going to pretend that this is like the best iteration on a cohort, but I think that it's probably going to be the best like for synergizing as opposed to just like maxing damage. Likewise, I suppose if we weren't as concerned with maximizing that health value, so we're at 4607 currently, we'd look at using fewer heavier pieces. Thus ones that are more durable, thus ones that are more resistant to getting completely fried by a cannon shot or, well, flame. So if we were to go full tilt the other way, then we could hit 4300, so less durability, but the parts in the center that actually hold up the scaffolding are all more durable. Which should, I think, lead to a better result. I think should be fine. So that would be maybe an example of more so what it would look like if I were doing my own preference for armoring strategies, which is just generally using heavier parts. You can obviously see that we end up losing durability for the value overall. So lighter parts are, I think, definitely going to be the way to go. I don't mind the look of that being quite a bit more sleek. Could even, in theory, turn these wings inwards. Add more armor or something. Don't think there's really many options that are good for gapping that though, because you'd lose it if you lose the two connecting parts. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Obviously pretty restrictive though. Could also likely get away with moving these back further and then having an actual like end piece rather than like just having it basically free floating. Which I think is more in line with the traditional way that worm builds are made. But then you'd likely have to trade down some of the heavier parts for lighter ones again, just for the sake of having some volume there. That or cutting down the side a bit in order to have mass to put parts at the back. Could also, to be fair, we haven't really had issues with being deframed a lot. Could probably swap these out for lightweight frames. But it wouldn't even really have to be that long, would it? Because you only need 7 pips of clearance, so could actually just end where it was. And still have it rotate. So we can probably split the difference again, throw it 3 pips further forward. I don't know, this is kind of just a mimicry of the front on the back, but I'm sure there's probably better ways to go about doing it. mean, this did still get very close to 4607 after all, as a result of swapping out the heavy frames for light ones. So maybe you could argue this is the better option, maybe. Just for the sake of being able to then go back down to the lighter armor. And getting some more health out of it. Not a whole lot of 3x6 options to fill in that gap though, methinks. But to be fair, I suppose be better if these weren't connected by the 1x's. But if we do keep them that way, then we can fit some more of these potentially. guess this is kind of just a continuation of the 1.5 version so far. So maybe that was a misnomer of a stream name. Message from Bang Shield. Oh, on Discord. Lamau. How many millers do I own? Great question. 3 so far. More spam mail. Yes, my name is Dick King. Absolutely. Is it actually gonna let me make this beautiful? Wow. How close is this? Oh, it's still like 100 kilos off. It's just not nearly as obvious when you have such a high mass limit to begin with. I'm not gonna have enough mass for that, am I? Ah. Or part limit. But I can get... Oh man. What am I even doing here? Beautiful. I would like to have a better transition. Don't really think I have the option though. shame. Whereas to be fair, I could just shove all these over one, but then they're not, you know, centered with the guns anymore. What a cool world. Well, that's right, this looks much better and this has higher health, so why don't we just say that this was definitely the original idea. And wherever the newest build is, I'll just replace that. Yeet. Is there maybe a better tag than cannons? Does not really seem to be. Bam. I think, funny enough, this is a lower power score too than the other variant. Okay, so there we go. There's 5,000 health again with that, and this is definitely like a 1.9 stream rather than 2.0. That's fine. So that saved. Better version probably anyway. Oh man, it wasn't even centered. Unplayable. Oh, look at that. It doesn't even pop up with the name if you just click on the arrow. That's good. Phenomenal. Okay, so that's that. So now we can kind of actually approach this from another method as far as the question of like maxing out the armor. And that would be doing this calculation actually in reverse, effectively. Rather than putting in a part and a mass and getting a relative durability, we can put in the highest amount of durability possible and return the amount of parts and mass that would take. So for instance, if we sort by just raw durability per part from high to low, then we can see theoretically what the most amount of durability you could get with a full count of those would be. So for instance, I'm just going to copy. This almost feels like it needs its own spreadsheet. Okay, so we got that, and then we can also do whatever this one is, and we can do sloop. And then we can return a sum of the parts. And then we can just grab these, paste them in there. There we go. And then we can actually see, you know, theoretically, what the most amount of durability you could get is. So, assuming you have 74 parts available and 20,000 mass available, looks like you could hit 8,000, and then of course the cabin's durability itself, and then if you have the durability fusion, the you know, plus 10%. So it looks like you could almost hit 9,000 under like super ideal circumstances. That being said, I don't think you're generally going to have 20,000 mass available. Like, yeah, you'd basically have to be running very, very light weaponry and like no movement parts in order to get that. So I think that that's probably fairly impractical. The 7,500 limit that the other person was using is obviously a very nice value. So I guess the question is, what could we realistically be looking at for the mass value that would be able to supply as well as part count? So obviously the example we had was with 38 parts devoted towards the weaponry, the frames, the cabin, decor, etc. But if we look at making a super light build, super bare bones, basically how close to that can we get? So what I'll do is I'm going to take off all the decor and all of the armor. Now mind you, this is going to lean very heavily into running heavy armor, just because heavy armor gives the most durability points per part. But again, theoretically, dependent on your mass limit, you're going to have to shift towards some lighter parts, which is probably what we're going to have to do for the calculation again anyway. But if we were to look at stripping all of those, well, that should be close to 38 again. Yeah, minus the decor. Wait, why is it 30? Probably different count of frame stuff, I suppose. And like theoretically too, if you can manage to get the 4 wide build instead, which doesn't like feel like it would work really well with the reflectors being what they are, or you know, just fitting things like the Apollo underneath the cabin. But if you could get it 4 wide, then you'd be able to save another few parts here, because instead of using 2 frames to get a length of 8, you'd only be using 1. So you'd save another 1, 2 parts that way, which isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. But pretty firm on needing the 6 meat grinders, needing the giggle. You could probably do away with some more of the modules, but I suppose too, to a certain degree, that's actually what we were doing with the exact prior thing I did, was running a lot of these parts anyway. So I think as far as like a functional build, for the sake of including the decor parts, we're probably not really going to be able to strip it down a whole lot more. Well, actually, I guess the number would have gone the other way because of the use of the reflectors, right? Or no, that's with including the reflectors. Yeah, so I have it at 36 right now, which is with the core, with basically all the fixings. And the only way you'd be able to like further reduce part count on this is removing the reflectors, but they're like the only armor the weapons currently have. Or narrowing the frames, which is going to be very difficult while running the Apollo. When, you know, I get the Thor, then I guess, potentially. So, if we look at stripping this down further, I guess. How would I go about doing that? So we have a couple of different routes we can go. We could look at maximizing this current one with the lighter frames and whatnot, and then see sort of what the durability value ends up being. So let's maybe look at that. Gonna do a set up a calculator for it maybe. So it's actually funny because I have quite a few of these already set up, but none of them take into account like the armor parts. They're all just structural. Oh, and also the linking for a bunch of them broke because I updated the master spreadsheet with new items, but I didn't carry on down the data so that it would not overflow. Anyway, normally I take that stuff into account, just not with the structural parts, so adding that on as another layer is its own thing, but let's see, I guess, so if ideal circumstances for this specific build, these specific parts, then we'd have a cohort. So let's do count part. Basically just this again, I guess. So one cohort, its mass is effectively negative because it adds it. Its durability is 670. But although it does have the durability fusion, and we could theoretically give it the mass fusion. So if we did that, we would be looking at what? So fusions, cabins. Be looking at either plus 10% durability or minus 17% mass, and then a plus 10% mass limit. So I'm just gonna go with the plus 10% durability because, let's see, negative 17% mass of 5200, and it's not even 17% exactly either, it's a fraction, I believe. Let's see, do I have a mass fused? Okay, so the carapace is 3000 mass with negative 17% mass, and its default mass is 3600. So 3600 times 0.83 would be 2988. Yeah, so the math doesn't quite work out. So what is 17%. Probably around 6. So if we did 3,600 times 83.33333, whoops, 0.833. Anyway, so obviously that math works out. So the actual mass fusion isn't actually 17%, that's just the rounded value. It's actually a fraction. (16 2/3). Yeah, that's fair. What am I trying to do? Trying to get the 1/6. 1/6 fraction. So if we do our mass, which is by default, that also means that the cabin calculator is going to be wrong, isn't it? Because it's probably not the 1/6, is it? 10%. Oh, this isn't mass fusion. This would be the mass fusion. Oh, okay, I already know it was 1/6. Great. So it's included in the formula here. That's fine. So for this sake, its regular mass is 5,200. That times 1 minus that would be 4,333 and 1/3. So if I go on the exhibition, oh no, exhibition's glitched. Okay, so I don't actually know what the value of the cohort fused for that mass fusion is, but the amount of mass that we save overall is probably realistically that value floored, or I guess ceilinged, because they'd probably round up rather than in our favor. So 4,334 realistically. Since we're already flooring, we don't need that. So 866 mass. So the question is 866 mass going to be better than 10% durability? Now, if we can already hit the 8,000 durability mark, then 10% durability to that, assuming again it's actually 10%, going to be equivalent to 816 armor. Am I going to be able to get better than 816 armor out of a health pool of 866? Not very likely, because at that point you'd be running the parts that have very equal ratio between durability and mass, and yeah, even then they're not great. So very unlikely I'd be getting that much. Now, that being said, of course, as this number reduces in relation, this number becomes better, but we're going to put it this way. So if we have a mass fusion, if we do a I guess the mass for that is the same, isn't it? So the mass would be the 5,200. Then the mass limit is going to be so plus mass, I guess, minus mass. What is the terminology they use? Minus mass plus weight limit. Great, and I already did these calculations actually over here, so we don't actually really need to do them again. But let's say, reset them up again anyway, why not? So it has a default mass of... Having these calculations here, again, in the future is just going to make the... changing these values out for the sake of this chart a lot easier. So... mass... durability... I guess we'll do this the other way. Mass limit. So by default, mass is 5200, durability is whatever the tech tree says, minus 670. That's with the fusion. So 609, 5200 mass limit of 24,000. So our mass available, it's got to be that minus that, and then of course we have the engine, but that's fine. So let's say mass taken equals to mass minus that, so we have a negative value, so it adds to it. Then if we have a durability fusion, then it's 670, which I'm assuming is pretty close to the 1.1%. Yes, that's rounded. It actually rounds up in our favor. That's interesting. Normally game mechanics are working against you. But anyway, we know the exact number because I have that exact number. Durability fusion, and then it's going to be that. So theoretically we're going to run, this is the version I have, but theoretically we're wanting maxed out, so we're going to compare the durability, mass, and the weight, mass weight afterwards, dependent on so maybe they do just round it in our favor by just having around it. Let's assume that they're nice and they do that. Why are you so... No, you're not supposed to be a fraction. Okay, so the mass limit for this would be plus 10%. Oops. And I know that that is definitely a 10% one. No, you're still not supposed to be a fraction, bro. Okay, so that gives us the big value, except you're still supposed to be 3. So that's good. And then if we had a item, theoretically you could use the Colossus and fuse that, but I think from a practicality standpoint you'd probably want to stick with the Geagle. Whatever, let's just hash it out. I can do both of them. Why not turn this into a 3-hour stream, right? So... Colossus is not going to apply to the cabin durability. Its default mass is going to be 450. Its default mass limit's going to be 2500. So it's going to be minus 2050. If we had a Colossus that was upgraded for minus mass because the durability of it does not apply to the cabin, and then mass limit, still be looking at 0. we'd be looking at that time. Well, let's see. See what the number is first, I guess. That times 1 minus 1/6. Oh, it's a nice flat number. Great. That times 1.03, which is 2575. So that gives us 2200 if we ran the giggle, which again I'd probably say is the better route, but for the sake of, you know, maximizing. Whoopsies. 0 cabin durability, 500 base mass, 2500 mass limit, and if we did that, $417. So obviously we eke out a little bit better with the Colossus. Honestly, it's very minor. And the durability difference probably doesn't matter for 42 points, especially because we can go an extra 5 kph. But let's say hypothetically that we went with that. Then we could do XLOOKUP of that in here, which will be a fixed value, and return, oops. Return the mass taken, and then you want to stay in the N column. And this one we would return the T column. So 609 raw durability, excellent. The cohort mass. Do I think the extra 800 mass of the mass fusion is actually better than durability though? Probably not, so we'd probably run that. And then we would likely run the Colossus. What are you angry about? Yeah, that sounds like it should be fine. Oh, whoopsie. Didn't apply a fixed value to that. Great, okay. So we have those values. Because technically the durability fusion means that this would be 609, and then we'd apply the bonus to the end. Maybe is how the math would work. Probably be the easier way to do it. I don't know if it would actually be any better though. But let's say we ran that. We ran 4 meat grinders, or sorry, 6 meat grinders, however many we'd need for this. So meat grinder by default is oh, but we also need to include the tonnage calculation, don't we? Oh man, making things so much more complex. Basically rebuilding the game design. Alright, mass. Tonnage is going to be consistent. Oh, no, it's going to be 0 for the engines. The cohort, it's going to be 9200. Tonnage is W. Okay, so we're going to be wanting the tonnage to equal the mass. Oh, so we need the mass limit as well. Oh my god. Oh, can't have things be too easy now, can we? Great, okay. Oops. Clicked underline instead of redo. Or rather hotkeyed it. Oh, my game locked up as well. Yeah, I don't know what causes that then, because I was just poking around with a marker tab. I wasn't even in the exhibition. So it looks like maybe, just maybe, using their number box just derp stuff out. Okay, so it's not that. So it's tonnage, mass limit, mass. Great, cool. So we're just going to put these in order. So do we actually care about mass taken? It's gonna kind of depend, isn't it? It's determined based off of... Jeez. So much math. Cool, so what numbers do we care about? We know tonnage remaining. That'll be important, and tonnage remaining is going to be equal to the sum of the tonnages minus oops. Some tonnage minus some masses. It's going to be that. So Dura, mass, tonnage, limit, great. Then we can just yoink this entire row. Let's probably just make this UU, VV, and then make it to Y. Then we'll spill. Get rid of that, should give us the right values. Boom, bam. Okay. So should be fine. I'm just going to change the references so that I can just copy it over. Oh, except I don't actually want to do that, do I? Tonnage remaining is mass tonnage. Still mass. No, wait. Minus mass. This is going to be equal to just the sum Great, it's going to be that times 1.1 if we have the durability fusion. Oh, this is going to get pretty bad. Durability is going to be kind of complicated to determine. That's easy enough. I'm just literally rebuilding the calculator. Okay, let's not reinvent the wheel. So I'll fix this. Which is already sort of a jank system, but whatever. Alright. Good enough, whatever. So let's pull these values instead of reinventing the wheel, shall we? And then we'll have to add whatever manual modifiers we want for the upgrades because the system currently does not handle those. That's fine because I can just eat them all at the end. Okay, so instead of using this as a reference, I'm able to use parts master. So we want the tonnage mass limit. Let's Start simple, no, not you. Better just implement it for the meat grinder. Okay, so raw durability is equal to X lookup that value, which will stay in row N in parts master D and return that, except it doesn't apply to the cabin durability. Well, one step at a time, baby. So there's the durability and mass. On the plus side, this will calculate the total vehicle durability, but that's not really what we're trying to maximize for here, is it? So we can basically just say, forget it for the non-cabin parts. Tonnage and mass limit is H to I. Great. Okay. That's usable. And then for the sake of the cohort, we can copy that and then make this K to L. Which will be that. That's good. Oh, yuck. Right, multiplied equal to that value done. Great. Oh yeah, no, the game straight up crashes whenever you type in values. Nice. Well, that's gonna make doing market stuff kind of hard. Okay. What is, yeah, that's good, that's good. Boom, bam. Cabin has a separate calculation, so we'll throw it at the top. Let's do this to get rid of the data. So now it's just those. Excellent. So we have our mass tonnage. Okay, we're just gonna do the manual calcs and whatever. Why does that give us more tonnage than the limit? That doesn't make any... Oh, because we didn't add the clauses. Right. Great. Okay. This is defo going well. We also have Grizzly as a co-driver. What does that guy do? Oh, plus 5% durability. Well, that explains why the value I calculated beforehand with this was different than the one in game. So durability is going to be equal to some armor plus cabin times if cabin dura upgrade times, I guess rather plus 10% if cabin upgrade, plus 3% if Grizzly co-driver, and then the mass limit is likewise going to change. But I'll figure that out later. Ha. Okay, so we have those data values over to the right anyway, so I'm not going to be too worried about losing that data. We'll do it in the future. Okay, so if you're maxing it out, cohort, meat grinder, Colossus for sure, then we probably want 2 weapons which are rather light. So I think the Waltz are probably still going to take the cake. Let's probably use all of the data we need. So we're going to have an Apollo 4. What else? What do I have here? Actually, we'd use the Thor success because it's a lighter ideal circumstance. Not to say it's better to use the light Jenny, but like for the sake of maximizing armor, it would be so much multiplication to occur later on with all the upgrades. Ugh. Whatever. Okay, and then let's say we had 2 Waltz. Dang, those things are light. So energy, which I'm not gonna grab values of, is -1 plus 4 minus 12. So 15, 12, 2. So 2 energy left. So why don't we slap on a KA2 flywheel? Assuming I remember that name right, it looks like it. And then a averter. Then we would probably have an expanded ammo container too, so I used 2 for the elephant. And those have a default ammo count of 14. Actually, what is Grizzly's other perk? Movement part, power penalty. Oh, cool, we don't care about the power penalty at all. Nice. What is the ammo count for the Waltz? It is 15, so let's just say 2 expanded ammo containers again. Except it's expanded ammo pack, I think. Okay, and then probably slap on an iris. Say we slap on a radio. Oh, but I have no idea what the decor or other stuff's gonna end up being. Just use the example I have. 1 damage counter, error, and it would have a mass of 17. Have 1 ambulance light with a mass of 12. 2 cheat energy flare with a mass of 9. Oh, sorry, 18 because there's 2 of them. And then 1 Baron's banner, which has mass of 12. So this is the like bare bones functionality, but we still actually have all the important stuff. We're not just throwing everything away for the sake of getting maxed mass. So run all of those. It'd theoretically shrink the footprint of the build. I think I'm gonna just keep it as is, quote unquote, at the current length of the 6 augers, because I like how that fills the space. You could obviously move waltzes closer, shrink the build entirely, run like a tonnage engine so you only need 4 augers, etc. But I'm going to just say no at the moment because it's way more convenient for me to calculate. So we're going to include the 2 frames of 1x6 that I have currently. They have a mass of 81. Gonna have 5. Should there be 6 lightweight frames? There is, so we'll get rid of the heavy one on the front and just run that as a lightweight as well. So we'll run 6 4x6 lightweight frames. That's going to have a mass of that times 162, so a lot. No tonnage, no mess. And then we're going to slap on 6 reflectors, and the durability and mass calculations we're going to get from here, except the other way around. Nice. So that's our part count of 36, which is what I currently have on the build. And the mass is pretty close to what it says it should be. It's not actually correct, which is interesting, because my mass is higher. But why is my mass higher? Oh, because I'm using the Apollo, yeah. So if we swap that out, should be pretty close. And then the 2 elephant 17, yeah, perfect. Okay, so being very light. Still not entirely convinced that not running the Geagle is the way to go. Ugh, the differences are so small. And I still don't know how I'm gonna do the Other calculation. Whatever. Okay. So then the question is basically implementing as many of these as we can. So how does this get to 33? So let's take whatever the size of this is. 13. So we'll take 13 of these. So that gets us pretty close, but we can actually take some more. So let's do maybe those. Like, why not just hit the limit, I guess. We have 81 parts, so let's say we could probably get away with not using the thing that we have for the giggle. So let's make it I don't even know, let's just say one heavy frame. That's going to have a weight of 324. Then we want this to go to 32. Oh, good, it does. Okay, so that's 80 parts. It's probably going to be the best we can get once we implement fusions. Okay. So, I'm just going to do this the lazy way. Just going to do this manually right now. So let's say sum of the armor, and then we're going to add 3%. Alright, is it vehicle durability? Armored car durability plus 5%. Yes, thank you, Grizzly. So the mass limit then is plus 3%. Great. Oh, but it's specific to the cabin mass. Okay. So mine is 27,220 currently. So I'm just going to double check the math on this. So 24,000 times 1.03. Call that plus 2,500 from the heavy engine. That's perfect. Okay. So that is how the math works. So the mass limit is going to be cabin plus if cabin mass fusion plus 5% if Grizzly. Terribly formatted message, but just so I remember for myself. So in this case, we're going to do that, and then it'll be plus that times 1.03. What? Times 0.03. Oh my goodness. One day. Okay. So that is exactly what I have currently in Butte. That math adds up. The tonnage, we're not going to worry about that because we're not going to have the fusion for that. The mass going to be the same, and then I definitely know an easier way to add the fusions. Hehe. I'm gonna take that, going to add it as a note. And we're just gonna say, let's go yoink this actually, times 1.05. So that would be the value, theoretically, if I slapped all those on without any other sources of fusions. So I don't know how they ran this, but whatever. There's the answer. No, we're not done. Oh, how I wish. So that is actually pretty close to something I can throw together right now. I don't actually have the Thor, but I have literally all the rest of these. So although the fusions are slightly different for Colossus to Cohort, the rest of these should barely matter. So how we do it, we're going to throw that together. Just as an example. See how close the math actually is, as it were. Although it is going to be over mass according to the calculation. So let's find out. So no elephant. Oh no, stop that. No. Why are you so bad? Does that fix it? How do I fix it? Wow. Magic. Okay. So we have pretty much everything the same as before, except we're going to swap you out. Probably put the tough one at the back, actually. And then we'll have the waltzes in here instead. Yes, theoretically you could get away with less reflectors, but I'm going to pretend that's not the case for now, just to make this easier on myself. Okay. And then it's missing the one. What am I missing? It's missing an energy. It has too much energy, rather. Flywheel. Alright, we didn't replace the engine with the Colossus. It's my fusion on this anyway. Mass. So that's a good one. That's actually the one we want. Not the mass limit mind, but can't be perfect. I guess theoretically we don't even need this on the front, do we? We could actually just slap that there. That being said, of course, if that goes, the entire build goes, but that was kind of going to be the case anyways. You know, I actually don't mind that, like, at all. So let's go with that then. So we will adjust the math and say that we are going with 0 4x6 frames, and that would let us bring something else, I guess. One other single part. I'm not going to be too worried about that for the moment. What is that? 2 volts, flywheel, inverter, ammo, iris, radio, decor, reflector. Yeah, so I guess I'll just start slapping on armor now. And of course, again, theoretically, probably going to be able to implement this better than I am, because I'm just going to be throwing these down. But we can take 6 APC parts, PC roof part, 8 crane sides, 2 container walls. And then 4 truck doors, which are essentially the same part, just reskinned. So I'm just gonna slap them down in one pile. 4 bulbs, which is new with this update. Well, with the Hyperborea pass, that is. So I guess we'll have to see more use of those in the near future. Leather mounting points are kind of terrible. Oh, voila. Can't mount them anywhere if you do that. Probably best if you don't do that, but you know, is an option. Have the home front. Have 2 APC rears. Have the Mepo Coro, I'll scroll up for those later. Armored hatch times 2, small APC panel times 4. Four hard modules. Six large fenders. And then a aforementioned Mempo Socorro. Excellent. So that's definitely over mass. It says the calculated mass would be 28556 because I'm running slightly different things, namely the Apollo instead of the Thor. I am actually at 28896. And then of course I also have some stuff that's mass fused. So I think the math on that checks out. Durability wise, we're at 7475 because I have the cohort fusion. So the durability would be that times 1.0, I guess 1.15, assuming they stack with the Grizzly. 7441, and I'm at 7475. Pretty close. I'm actually unsure what the difference would be from maybe it's how they multiply it. This should be the same value. Yeah. So there is some shenanigans going on. We'll say though, yeah, this is fucking damn near the exact same value that the other guy got. I guess I should pull up that post. They also had 7,500. Their mass was 23,000 rather than 29,000. Does look like they were running the Giggle, which, like, granted, probably the better move. So I guess, yeah, the amount of resources you spend on things like the frame, so theirs is obviously much more square rather than rectangular. They're only running 4 augers. They're running lighter armor. So I think they're probably running fewer main components. Like mine was 34 parts between the frames and wheels and whatnot. And then running better Dura per mass parts. So they were more so limited by their mass, where here I've been more so limited by the part count. Like, I am currently, like, over tonnage significantly, but that's something that you could solve by running the mass fusions aforementioned. So that might be pretty much as high as you can go. Pretty sure the mass would be okay though. So what I'm gonna do is kind of cheese this a bit. I'm gonna say if you mass fused this stuff, so meat grinder, Colossus, what is the other movement part? Because we could do with some more plus tonnage at this point, but it's only like a 5% increase, isn't it? So honestly, I might run into some further issues with stuff, but let's say we were going with at least the mass fusion. For all of the things that can be fused for mass. Say if there's a mass fusion, then we run 5 by 6, not, and then we run 1 times. So with the, okay, it doesn't like that. Why doesn't it like that? N4, whoops, I just said N4, lol, okay, is equal to, check, nice, so, I think the math on that works out, hot, okay, so let's copy that, so save a bunch of math. Cry, because once again I don't actually know if the fusion rounds. Let's see, we get a fused Thor. What is the Thor's mass? 267, so I think they just round, which is pretty fair, I suppose. So we'll say round the answer to 0 digits. because the server's too busy. Well, that's fine, thanks. So we're gonna do some rounding. Boop. Approximations, of course. I'm gonna make this the same way. So K to K. That to that. So no mass fusion, so it's 5200 grand. I guess it would make sense to add a tonnage fusion for the meat grinder, because otherwise you'd be looking at what? Power or surface traction. So for the sake of maxing this again, I guess tonnage is fine. So add that. Let's say oh, so much, man. I don't even know how the tonnage fusion works either. Do I have a tonnage fusion for anything? I'm assuming it's just a straight 5%, but let's see. Tonnage of a low clearance wheel is 409 with it. And normally its tonnage is 390. So I think that checks out. Oh, it rounds funky dough. Unless it's already rounding and it's supposed to be a 0.4. Nope. Uh-oh. Sounds like it's not 5%. Tonnage or anything else? Yes. Camber wheel is 662 with the tonnage fusion, and regularly it is 630. I'm gonna go with a hesitantly yes. It just treats it like a regular rounding, and the value of the low clearance is not 390. I don't know. I don't know why the math ends up being what it is, but this makes sense. This is consistent at least. The first value, not so much. 409 and 390. Yeah, 409 and 390. That should round to 410 though. Okay, well I'm just going to ignore that and hope it works. I don't know, I feel like the best bet would probably take something with the most tonnage in the game and then see if I can search it up on the exhibition with a tonnage fusion and see what the difference is, but there's no guarantee that's gonna go well, considering how it keeps crashing. But let's give her a go. So if I'm gonna search up the oh, I know, I can just do it this way without searching by typing it in. Hee. Alright, so now we just gotta find a fusion. Best chance of finding a fusion is probably one with a high power score. Tonnage? No, don't blame me. Tonnage is not a good fusion, generally speaking. That's not a fuse Goliath. Oh, that's lots of different ones. Tonnage, yeah, it's exactly 5%. And that is the largest possible value we could detect that for. So I think, oh look at that, it does round the mass down nice. I think probably safe to assume that it's just a flat 5%. There's something fucky up with the low clearance wheels. Okay, so we'll go open that up and we'll give it a 5% tonnage fusion. By replacing this. And we'll say if the tonnage is that, then we do 1.05 times what? Tonnage should definitely be higher than 4,800. Oh, what did I do wrong? Okay, if there, oh, I didn't add a check for one. So yes, check mark. So if there's a check mark, then we do 1.05 times the tonnage stat. Is that right? No, we need H, not L. That makes more sense. 17,640, and beforehand we had 16,800. Nice math check. So tonnage is a little bit closer to the mass limit, but our mass total is still higher than it. So we'll definitely need some of those other fusions. So can't fuse any of the structural parts, nor decor, nor a white object. I'm just going to color code these. Boom, 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 boom. Those are legendary. These are all base. Iris is a special. These are epics, and these are also legendaries. Okay. So I guess it'd just be taking into account the cabin fusion now. So the durability is going to be, assuming the Grizzly co-driver basically. So it's going to be that value multiplied by if value is equal to check mark, then 1.15, otherwise 1.05. So 6794 if we have a durability fusion, 7441, which again is like almost exactly on the money for the value I have, which is 7475. So that works. I'm just going to assume that this rounds again. There's obviously still something wrong with the calculation, but I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's just somehow how the Grizzly works. So if I throw on another co-driver, it becomes 7119. No, it's not that high either. Okay. Obviously I've got some sneaky durability coming from somewhere. Sum of the durability of parts multiplied by 10% for the cabin fusion and 5% for Grizzly. I don't know, I'll sort that out after. Mass is equal to that. This we look into that. So our mass is still slightly higher, so I feel like a durability fusion might not be the way to go compared to a mass fusion. Oops, it doesn't like that. Just so that we're not having issues with going over the value. But let's leave it there for now, and then say what category is this? So these, I think the first three are all in the first one. Oh no, they're in the third one. Cabin tonnage and mass limit are in the third, right? Okay, so this is going to be mutually exclusive. So this is the first slot. You can have one or the other. On the third slot, one or the other. So the only one that can have the weight limit is going to be this one, the mass limit. I don't actually know that we care a whole lot for actually increasing the mass limit, to be honest. Might be better to just go with tonnage. Or the minus mass, because like all these values are already pretty close. Like increasing the mass limit would let you have heavier parts, but again, we're already pretty much bang up at the limit of parts. So without stripping down additional functionality, we're not really going to be able to add a whole lot more. Next thing would be the large EPC panels. That has a quantity of 2 though. Probably get rid of that at least. Wait, did that change the value? Oh no! That's not good. Well, let's... just clear that then. So 79 parts. So barring just getting rid of one of the other ones, which we could probably do without a radio. Since we aren't running our radar anyway. But I don't know, I don't really like stripping down functionality for the sake of min-maxing. Because by the same token, why would you run like a flywheel and inverter if you can just run an Aegis? And then why would you run an Iverson radio? So you could save potentially 2 more parts there. Bunch of mass. Theoretically, even just go with 1 expanded ammo pack. I don't know. Oh, for the sake of this. Oh, we can add a mass limit fusion there as well. Oh, weight limit fusion. Oh, it doesn't take it into account, of course. Okay. And then if that is equal to yes, then we run 1.1, otherwise 1 times, so that's that. That becomes 12. Yuck. Right, it varies, doesn't it? 1.03 in the case of this one. Most of the other ones don't even care. So I guess we probably just remove that since they can't have weight limit fusions. I mean, likewise, these ones can't have tonnage fusions. What are you upset? Rounding, yeah. That's fair. Whatever, I don't think any of these need rounding. Grand. Okay, so the only other thing would be if we can get tonnage or weight fusions on any of these, which we can't. And then the tonnage or weight limit fusion on the cabin, assuming you don't want power, like, you know, the Battle Pass was so kind to give to us instead of mass limit on the heaviest cabin in the fucking game. Alright, what would we want to go for here? Honestly, probably just tonnage for the sake of this math. But you could obviously instead go with weight limit, find some way to make up the missing tonnage. I don't know how you do it. Probably another part spent on movement, so that's kind of redundant. So I think, honestly, hilariously, for once, the tonnage fusion comes into play. And then if we were... Yeah, I mean, you can't even add 2 more large APC panels without shaving mass off somewhere else. In any case, the math on this works like almost perfectly, which I'm sure is very much by, you know, their design, where the tonnage and the mass limit are just like chef's kiss. Assuming my math is right. And then you have a little bit of wiggle room on the mass. Not enough to add 2 more large APC panels. But pretty close. I don't even know what you'd do for that. Like, ripping off the single part of the iris or the radio wouldn't be enough. You'd have to take off like an ammo pack. Can we even get away with running a single expanded ammo pack? Let's see. 2 ammo packs give them 49 ammo. That does feel a little excessive. How much is 1 ammo pack? I don't know if that's enough ammo. It feels like it should be enough ammo. Obviously, I suppose it depends what you do with it, but like that's damn near 200 rockets. Feels like you'd be able to be firing for most of a 5-minute match with 1 ammo pack, especially if you had it fused. How much does a fused ammo pack give compared to regular? Increases ammo efficiency by 56%. So it would be basically the midpoint. I feel like having about 30 rockets is probably sufficient, so we could probably get away with an expanded ammo pack of 1, and then adding 2 large APC panels. Yeah, that is probably as good as she's gonna get. Like, it is overmassed slightly, but you could swap these out, I'm sure, for like the decor parts for saving 29 mass total. Or I guess it would actually have to be the mass limit rather than the tonnage limit. And of course, if you run the Golden Eagle instead, that's gonna change this value. a little bit. But honestly, not very much in the grand scheme of things. They go fast. Let's see, can I shave off 80 mass on this build? Yeah, just unequip the iris. GG easy. But unironically, that might actually be the answer. We can also add some fancy conditional formatting rules here. Not that we need to, but what am I looking for? Based on their value, no, that contain a greater than tonnage. Then we give it orange text, just like in game. And then if it's greater than V2, wow, that's trippy. Then we give it a red font, just like in game. Spooky. Alright, so obviously we need to correct that. And how will we go about doing that? I am really leaning towards getting rid of the iris in the radio. I don't know, let's assume with the Colossus, just 36 would do it, but then you have an extra part count. I'm not sure what you want to spend that on. Time is it? It's the 2-hour mark for the third stream on the topic. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it would be a matter at this point of looking at doing the mass fusion instead. And then trying to spend the remaining mass on more armor, but you can't. We're already running as much armor as possible, like almost completely disregarding the mass limit. So, barring significantly decreasing the amount of parts we spend on other things, I think it's going to have to be the durability fusion. The tonnage fusion still makes sense, so just be about shaving off the 30 mass. So yeah, for the sake of us not having a radar, I don't think it would be unreasonable to get rid of the radio. That would let us be under mass. remaining question sort of being how the durability formula actually works. So it's not being very nice at the moment. And then seeing if we could pump that number even higher. What was the other dude running? Were they still running the... Yeah, they were running without reputation bonus. So I'm hitting a higher value very slightly with 5 less parts, but without significantly chopping your part limit count for stuff on other resources and then using lighter armor pieces so you get better durability per mass. I'm not so sure you're actually going to be able to get higher durability, and at that point you're obviously sacrificing the actual combat viability of it. Like, I wouldn't run without an expanded ammo container. I wouldn't want to run without a reload booster, although theoretically you could run an Aegis instead of the reload booster and a Verter. But I think you'd get less than the 30% relative bonus out of it. You can't really run less augers. You might be able to get away with running a Goliath and then 4 augers, but I don't even know what that would look like. The mass probably isn't much better. All you'd be doing is saving 1 part and maybe losing mass. So I think from a functionality standpoint, we're pretty to the wire right now. Oh, I hate how it always does this like preview thing instead of taking me to the actual post. So, and I don't even think this is, like, this is tight enough that you probably wouldn't be able to get away with running the Golden Eagle either, would you? Yeah, because that would be over slightly again. So, well, I guess you could run like the Neutrino instead. What's the mass on that? Yeah, pretty much identical mass. So you'd only be getting the additional ability to snipe with it, but like, I think an Iris module serves the build better. Maybe not, I don't know. Well, it is lighter though, so maybe that's the better answer anyway, on top of seeing explosives and being able to snipe cross map with it, since it doesn't have any projectile drop. But of course you could save theoretically an additional module by running, or additional part by running a single 12 energy weapon, or 2 7 energy weapons, and then not having a like additional supporting module. But again, for the sake of just 1 extra part, I don't think that's going to make or break anything. Ooh. Probably damn near as close as you're gonna get. So as far as the question of why the hell the durability volume isn't correct, I wish I knew the answer. I wonder if it just multiplies the values together or something weird. What do I have? Do I have this? Basically, so if I ran the single ammo pack, no radio, ran the Iris. Yeah, honestly, no, I'm just gonna stick with the Iris for the sake of being so much better. For the sake of trying to find a positioning for a Neutrino is gonna hurt a lot. I don't think you're gonna get better mass for the weapon. Well, I guess we could actually do the calculation for it. Not that, again, this is necessarily any measure of the weapon's Why do I not even I don't even have the stats for the Hornet recorded. That's funny. It's the real OP weapon this entire time. Okay, so its energy is still -2, its durability is 52, mass is 144, no perk. Sources, it's just base. I don't think I have a source labeled for that, do I? No. Whatever, it's not part of the check. Okay, so mass per energy is going to be equal to that. So basically I want the lowest value possible. Whatever. I'm pretty sure the Waltz is going to be the best, at least for a worm build, by far. Cannons, yeah, so 22-ish for the shotguns. The Waltz, where are you? Still very good at 35. So could run melee. You're not going to do that on a worm. Not going to run drones on a worm either. Generally, I mean, you could. Not going to run fixed angle weapons. So yeah, barring swapping to like the Hammerfall, which I'd probably suggest against, or just shotguns in general since they're pretty light, I don't think you'd have much of a better time. But you could do the Hammerfall, you could, because you could run slightly less mass with those, but you would lose a bit more mass anyway due to supporting modules, because you'd probably want a radiator and a cooler with the extra 2 energy. So if we had a like mass per energy including the mass and energy of supporting modules, which is assuming 1 heater, 1 cooler, or 1 reload booster, I think it'd be pretty close. Although to be fair, the flywheel and expanded ammo container are both rather heavy, so maybe the shotguns would probably still pull ahead. I just don't like the premise of running a worm build with shotguns, because you're already slow and then you're forcing yourself to only be useful in melee range, well, like very close range. I don't even really like the Waltz, honestly, for a worm build, but like it works. Definitely a hell of a lot better from a mass efficiency standpoint than the cannons, which would be probably the closest other guess, or most of the machine guns. Due to their low durability, the only one that you probably want to use it on is like the miniguns or the auto cannon, cosplaying as a machine gun the world. And even then, that's extremely heavy as well. Other option being something like a Cyclone and maybe a little bit less. Miniguns. Gungnir are actually pretty good, but I was thinking more so like the Miller or the Reaper, and obviously those both kind of suck. Reaper is honestly not that bad, especially for not needing any supporting modules. That kind of might be the play. Because that'd be 2 parts, maybe 4 if you're running 2. Expanded ammo containers. Pretty durable already. You could probably get away with running the Aegis on them. So you would, yeah, get rid of the flywheel. Maybe get rid of the averter. Or otherwise you'd have one energy. Anyway, I'm not really sure what else you'd spend it on. Maybe like an interceptor or something. So I feel like on paper, like, kind of says you could go up to 9,000. But I think functionally, under most circumstances, you're probably just going to be looking at closer to the 8,000 on the very upper end, which is very similar to what we were seeing the other person's build with this build, certainly, anyway. So I'm just going to nuke these calculations because I don't think they're particularly helpful anymore. I mean, we already had the, you know, structural calculator page, no sense in not using that. These ones we don't need anymore because we have it calculated. So yeah, I mean, you could squick out some more. Once again, less parts here, more parts here, more of this, more of that. But I really don't think you're going to get more effective than this hypothetical one with fusions on everything that can use fusions. I think this is probably going to be as good as she gets. And again, this isn't to say that this is necessarily even a hyper, like, viable build either. I'm wondering if there are better decor for the mass, because if we just care about, like, having free mass, yeah, it looks like you could run some more that are 8 mass each instead of the 12 or 17, but oh, it actually goes down as low as 5 mass if you run blue lamps. Short blue lamps are 3, pumpaloons are 2. So if you actually ran 5 pumpaloons, the funny thing is 2. Oh, never mind, you can't do that with those. The rocket balloons, I know you can mount. Oh, you can still definitely do it with pump balloons. Oh no. This is just psychological warfare. Not how you be a good noodle. So here's the thing. On top of being literally the lightest decor, at least that I have, when I go search my decor for category for mass high to low, the pump balloons are really rude because just like the rocket balloons, their hitbox is literally just the like source. So you can have them go through parts. So you can actually use the pump balloons as like a visible shielding. So I guess concealment is the technical term, and there's a very low chance of them being able to like actually destroy them, short of you taking damage to wherever the mount point is. So in this case it would be on the underside of the build. So you could totally just run a bunch of balloons. You'd have to be placing things a little bit more mindfully than I did, but you could definitely just run a bunch of balloons underneath, get your decor bonus, and also conceal your weapons on your warp build. I'm not going to be too super concerned about that because I think that, well, you know what, whatever, we're doing maximum friggin' viability anyway. Why not go all the way, right? So we'd save a bit more mass there. The pump balloons with our decor. Phenomenal. I mean, it's not very much overall, but is it enough for us to run the golden eagle? Oh my god, it is. Just barely. Beautiful. We can go fast. Okay, so I think that would pretty much be it. That would be, like, short of, I guess, running. You could run 2 normal ammo packs that were fused. And squeak out a little bit more mass. It's less than 100 mass at this point. This is, like, the returns aren't significant by any means. So, plus you actually get more ammo out of a single expanded ammo pack that's fused than 2 smaller ones. Let's see, what are the... Another option. I don't even think you can fuse like anything for more tonnage other than what we already have. Luckily that's at the limit, but if we could shave that off, if we could get more tonnage somewhere else for the sake of getting an increased weight limit, that would be pretty rad. But without like having a good method of getting the tonnage up high enough in order to get to the mass limit, like, it's just not worth it, I don't think. But theoretically, if you shave more parts, I suppose you could probably, yeah, you could realistically hit 9,000 power, or 9,000 durability, I think. Because the extra 2,000 mass, you get approximately half of that in durability, ideal circumstances. So after the large APC panel on the list, then the durability per mass of these is going to be, yeah, scavenger parts. So sitting at around the 0.5 ratio, I'm sure. Or not even, it would actually be lower than that. They're on the low end. So, yeah, maybe. Maybe. So let's go crazy, shall we? Whoops. Let's go crazy and say, what if we did this, but absolutely dummy maximization. And we ran no decor. And we ran a weight limit fusion there. Oh wait, why does your functionality break? Just gonna duplicate this instead. Boom, boom, boom. So if we got no pump balloons, if we had a weight limit, then how much more tonnage would we need? About 3,000, yeah, so we could get away with adding a 7th meat grinder. Math again, very close. Have about 2,000 mass to that limit. So let's say we get rid of our quality of life buff via the iris. Then if we added stuff after the large APC panel, let's see, how many parts do we have left? 79, whoops. 74, so we could get another 6 parts in. So let's say the phantom fenders and the corner platforms. What? Oh. Right. Sweet stoopity doop. And then, whatever. Let's push it 8,000. Why are we not at the limit? It didn't go all the way. So 828. So that's what, 8,500-ish. We're at the part limit again. So I don't know. I don't really think you could do a whole lot better. We can try, I guess. I really don't think the Reapers are going to be the answer. Yeah, I mean, the jump in that is pretty sizable. And it's not like shaving off the 600 from the flywheel and the ammo pack is going to make up for it. But let's give her a go, shall we? See if we get rid of those two anyway. And then if we run a Aegis Prime, it's 12, 13, 14, 15 energy still. Oh, it does not like that. Why does it not like that? It's because it doesn't have a name of Aegis Prime, it has a dumber name. Yes. Yes, it does. So that's what? 29355, where before we had 29334, so we literally, oops, oh, I didn't do any of that. What do you mean? 29355. So yeah, the mass actually went up, and that's with us already cutting like a bunch of functionality stuff. So I don't think the Reapers would be the way to go. Plus you'd actually want the ammo pack still. So yeah, Waltz are probably the best on that count. I mean, we could look at doing, let's see, 2 times Waltz, flywheel, averter, expanded ammo. This is equal to 29334. 2 times Reaper with Aegis Prime and no ammo was 29355. If we ran a single kaiju, we probably wouldn't need the flywheel or the averter. I mean, this just straight up went up. Like, yeah, there's no way a kaiju is gonna work. Let's see, I guess we'd try to hammer fall plus a RN seal plus a shiver, no ammo pack. That one's pretty good. 28619, assuming 10, 11, 12, 13 energy, so you'd still need Aegis Prime probably. So it's actually 28686. Still isn't too bad. Like, in none of these cases are you actually saving part count though, other than if you ran the Reaper, but obviously the mass on that went up. And I think mass is more so our limit at this stage. But you could run that. Well, no, then you run into the brick wall of the part count issue anyway, so that doesn't help you either, does it? So it looks like, yeah, like maybe 8,500 under absolutely ideal circumstances. But I don't think you're going to be realistically getting there under most situations. Yeah, that would fit maybe one more part on. So you go absolutely crazy and don't bring an ammo pack. And go with 2 Torino bonnets instead. Yeah, no, you're over mass. See, I think, like, absolutely ideal circumstances. When you wouldn't even have the mass fusion for the, oh, it wasn't ping that mind anyway. Cool. So I think the answer to people's question is, like, if you max stuff out crazily, you're looking at maybe 8,500 raw durability. But under most circumstances, the best you're going to be hoping for is about 7,500, 8,000. Again, barring the, you know, calculation differences. But I imagine this build is going to be way more effective than this one. And that's even taking into account it's still running the Thor, when realistically you probably do want to run the Apollo and shave off the extra mass for the sake of actually having a more stable generator, since you're going to be pretty slow. A good target for fire most of the time. So yeah, props I suppose to OP for actually getting that value on a lighter cabin. Without a parts list, I'm still not 100% sure how they do it, but I'm thinking it's gotta be very similar to that last one where there's less quality of life things, so no decor, which is obvious. Probably less frames, although it's kind of hard to see from the picture. It looks like they didn't use some frames in the middle underneath. They used Armour due to the square law and volume square law. It would be easier to fit Armour and use less frames on a build that is shorter and wider than my current one, ideally a square or cube shape, but that's not practical for most instances, especially when you're running augers, multiple pairs of them. So it is interesting that with a sizable mass disadvantage from going from the cohort to the Ermag, they were able to still hit that durability threshold. Now, for the topic of being... maybe I should figure out the durability calculation first. It's just gonna go down, I think, isn't it? I don't think it's gonna go up. Wait a minute. Why does my... Wait a minute. My... What? It looks like the durability fusion for the cabin actually only applies just to the cabin, which I thought it applied to all armor on the build. This is weird. This doesn't make sense to me. But that value is a lot closer than most of the other ones. No, because I tested it with Armour, didn't I? So I have a durability fusion. Whoops, not you. Durability fusion using Grizzly. Oh, I wasn't using Grizzly in that example. Okay, with Grizzly, the durability fusion, I'm at 7475. I've calculated 7678.55, so like it's just gonna go down that value. These are all H and K, which is equivalent to their raw durability and their mass. Yeah, short of me punching in a value wrong, I'm not quite sure. That or them doing the math differently. Okay, let's see. We can probably figure this out pretty easily by just wiping this. So if I have a cabin that has a nice health number, $550 is pretty good. I guess we'll just go with that. Okay, so if I have 550 durability and I have the Grizzly co-driver, then it becomes 578. 550 times 1.05 is 578 when it's rounded. Great. So that checks out. So Ermac, just gonna record this here. So Ermac is 550, Grizzly, which is 5%. And then if we do a durability fusion, 10%, but I don't have an Ermac one, so whatever. Let's do it this way, Ermac. I don't think I have multiple cabins of the same type, one with a fusion and one without. If I did, that would make it a little bit easier to compare. But I don't, so that's gonna make that kind of hard. But that applies the way I'd expect it to. So now if I have a cabin that I do have a durability fusion on, so let's use the cohort. So it's 670. It's actually 609. Durability fusion is equal to that times 1.1. Round it down. It's just blah blah. Upgrade 5%, 10%, and we will grab the durability value. And say lookup M3 and return its durability, and that is going to be multiplied by 1 plus whatever that value up there is. So base 550 with 5%. We're gonna keep this in the M column. Good. Okay, good. We're gonna keep it in the second row. So 578, except we gotta round down. So 578, so those two values all are green. They are exactly what I expected them to be. The cohort 609, that's good. With fusion, not Grizzly, it's 670, which is good. With, I can't test it with just Grizzly, but if we do Grizzly plus upgrade, it should theoretically be 15%. We can't actually check that value again. It's going to be very hard to check the value even on exhibition, because I'd have to minus all of the armor, unless somebody posted with just that, which seems unlikely. So Grizzly plus durability says it's 700. If I Grizzly. It's 704. What? Why is the value higher, game? I mean, that's kind of a good thing, I suppose. So no armor parts. Where did this come from? Do they multiply the two values together? That would be crazy. I think that's what they might do. Okay, so if we did 609 times 1.1 times 1.05, that gives us 703. Why would that round up? Oh, devs. Why you gotta hurt me like this? Okay, well let's go back to the other build then. So the other build was 7475. That's lower than this value. What? Okay, so 609. Gonna double check that the values here are correct. So reflectors, 66 raw durability. Crane parts, 132 durability. Scrolling the wrong way, aren't I? Crane sides, 132. Okay. The Mempo, 113. Yep. The Socorro, 113. Yep. A bulb is 126. Yes. The container wall is 128. The large fenders are 104. Truck doors, 128. Home front, 120. It's actually nice. It looks like it lists all of these parts in the window in the same order they show up on the build. Or maybe it's just because I placed them down in that order. I suppose that would also make sense. But, anyway. APC rear is 120. Yep, APC roof part is 138. Armored hatch is 112. See, I placed the armored hatch first, so yeah, I guess the list is the same as the list of the inventory. That's convenient at least. Hard module is 107. Small APC panel is 112. Yeah, okay, so all those values are correct to begin with. So, am I doing some weird stuff here? Count of it. So there's 6 reflectors, 6 APC roof parts. I'm just gonna put these in order. Reflector. Let's see, crane side part. And then the Mempo and Socorro. And then the bulb. And then the container walls. Large fender truck door. Home front. Then APC rear, APC roof part. Armored hatch, hard module. Oh, well, I don't have large APC panels down, so that would do it. Okay, because this isn't representative of what I actually have on my build. That answers that. Great. Okay, so... I would actually have to... part is this missing? 77. This is running the Geagle instead of the Colossus. Flywheel inverter 4/6 times 4x6. Okay, the Iris, yes. Single ammo container, yes. I don't have 5 pump balloons, but that's fine because they don't contribute to durability, just mass. So that gives me... I'm gonna put down the large APC panels. Boom, 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 boom. 29235 mass. Which makes sense because I don't have mass fusions on all this stuff. And then 7712 durability, which is actually higher than what's listed. So if it applies them multiplicatively, then man. If that, then we times it by 1.1, otherwise 1.0 times if Grizzly, then 1.05, 7712, yeah, that's exactly what I have. Rounded, actually. Okay, so you can go a bit higher under ideal fusion circumstances with that waltz build. So knowing that, this is the only co-driver that matters for this, so. And then we're just going to merge this, because they don't matter. No fusions for you. For that section, great. Okay, so it is multiplicative, that's good to know. I cry because there's still that entire damage calculation formula to do, but at least I know that that's good. So cabin, Dura, upgrade, Grizzly are multiplicative times 1.1 times 1.05. Great. This, oh my god, probably is going to change things for the actual calculations, except they also did the post about having some sort of calculation issue. Failure, you coward, you unpinned it. There we go. No, not that one. This one. Load, 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 load. Then there was also that. What? The talent of this. So this is damage resistance, not durability. So they didn't change that. So it's a good thing I didn't already play around with this formula, because it sounds like they're changing it. Okay. Through resistance rather than by damage blocking. What? Isn't it already resistance? Are you implying that the way the tackler blocks damage isn't just a 50% reduction? What? It literally says increased resistance to all types of damage except energy damage. But in here they state that it's through resistance rather than damage by blocking, implying that it would block the damage? I don't know. I will ignore that. In any case, they're fucking around with all the math again, so that'll be fun, I guess. But if we now have this brand new formula, which is great to know, then we can actually min-max this some more. Another one. So, because I think it was what, 2 Reapers, and then no ammo. Maybe it was 1 ammo, I don't remember. 1 Aegis Prime in any case. And then no Iris. Yeet. No pump balloons. We'd have a 7th meat grinder, no tonnage. We'd have weight limits increased instead. And that gives us a little bit more mass. So we could throw on, so we had what, the large EPC panel. Alright, this isn't in order anymore, great. So I think it was just the phantom fenders and corner platforms. Bum, 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 bum. Yes. Yes, limit. Whoops. Oh, that's right. This is the wrong page. Nice. That would do it. Blam, 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 blam. 29. So yeah, that's up there. That's 80. New formula. 8,400 as opposed to 7,700. Blah blah. Blah. Yeah. And I really don't think you'd be able to get 7 meat grinders going on with only 6 4x6 frames. But could also play around with getting rid of the reflectors too, but that'll add more mass, so, and I don't really care to recalculate that. TBH. So I think that's probably the answer for the absolute most optimized you could get. Would be just shy of 8,500 if you had absolutely everything ideal fused and had damn near 0 quality of life components on the build. Oh, sorry, we can actually get rid of the inverter. 12, 13, 14, 15 energy. So that gives us what? Mass 1 point. I guess you could get rid of another ammo pack. What is the next part? The Torino bonnet, wasn't it? Yep. Alright, well, let's see what she got to say. I have a feeling this is going to go over mass. But this would be probably pretty phenomenal for annoying the shit out of enemies. Being damn near impossible to kill. Yeah, that's over. It's over by so little, I'm probably going to ignore it, to be honest. Because even just removing like 1 reflector and replacing with a part that's like 14 less durability is easy enough. So yeah, with like 0 quality of life, you do it. You could also save some more mass, I guess, because we're not even at the part count limit. Oh, we probably are, yeah. So you could save some more mass maybe by going with the millers. Well, whatever, we're here anyway, why don't we find out? So 2 times Reaper Aegis Prime is going to be 29781 mass, and if we instead had 2 Miller, and then 1 RN seal, 1 shiver, barring the, you know, being over the count limit, part limit, 29734. So you could save some mass doing that, but then you lose the part limit. So, but this might end up being more viable anyway, realistically. I don't even know, like, we're already adding the heaviest parts in the game in order from highest durability to lowest. So I don't even know what you do with the mass you save from running like the not 2 Torino bonnets. Like, I guess you could run heavier frames, but you're still not breaking the 8500 durability mark. So that is probably the like final answer. It's going to be you can maybe squeeze out 8500. Super ideal circumstances. 0 quality of life. Alright, well that I think concludes this video, which is basically the hypothetical maximization. Just because I can't do it in my garage like I could with the first one with the elephants. But I think this would be pretty usable. This not so much. But, you know, it does answer some pretty good questions. I mean, I guess 2, realistically, you just get rid of like one of the reflectors or something and then run an expanded ammo container. That would be like a little bit better of a balance. But, I don't even know if you'd have the mass for that. You'd have to remove one of something, obviously. That should actually be there. Not that this needs to actually be that long, but whatever. We had 1 expanded ammo pack. Let's fuse for mass, and we did that. Yeah, that's not even enough, so you'd have to save. I don't know. Something. Thinking that's probably the best bet. Hey. I guess whatever would be lowest on the list, which I think was actually the corner platform, that's not enough. What about Trino Bonnet? Not enough. Phantom Fender? Not enough. A GPC panel? Yeah. So that would probably be what you ran. So 8500 durability. Again, I so would not recommend running this. But you could, I guess. You could. I'm gonna put these in their proper spots too. Actually, I don't even know where the Phantom Fender goes on the list. It goes... yeah, actually before the home front. And then the corner platforms would go on the rest of the scavenger stuff. The Torino bonnet would go way up before everything else. This would all be blank. This is with a grizzly. Well, I think that kind of answers that after all. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a check for the Bastion build that I have. So it's going to be another building garage one without all the math hypotheticalness, just to see how high practically I can get it. I suspect the answer is going to be pretty much the same as the cohort, so when you actually go and build it without having everything fused, it's probably only going to be closer to like 5,000 durability. But it is going to be more directly relevant to the cabin's perk, at least, where all of that durability gets the half damage taken from, you know, getting hit in the plow in the front. So cool. That will, I think, end this stream. We'll do another one that looks at the actual Bastion build.